One of the most frustrating projects perhaps I worked on was I was working on a 2D arena shooter called Rotherhithe. I think I was working on it for about a year maybe, and this was, you know, in my spare time, so I wasn't losing money on it or anything, but I was still putting a lot of my own energy into it and time and that. I did an initial prototype and I kind of liked the idea of making an arena shooter, and I sort of thought it looked cool, but I never really got it to a point where it was really fun to play. And so I kept on working on other areas. I worked on online play and high scores and all these menus and trying to like polish the game up and thinking eventually I'll just crack that core gameplay and it will be fun, but it never really was. And so I eventually sort of abandoned it, even though I put so much time into it. And it felt a bit of a failure on my part, because it was a failure for myself to see that like the game didn't really have a future. Unless that core part is fun, you can't kind of force it to be, I don't think. I think it's good to take breaks from development if it's a hobby. You can put the game down for a month and come back to it. And that's often really great for motivation, but often I think it helps you see the forest, you're not lost in the trees, as the saying goes. And taking a step back like that will help you sort of like judge it again and say, is it working, is it coming together? But I don't think there's a perfect answer. I think everyone probably has their own ideas about when to give up sort of thing, or when to move on to something else. There's lots of times, lots of games I've worked on which haven't finished, lots of things which I might sort of consider failures, but I think from all of them you can learn something.